Good evening. It's a late one here on this October 5th, 2023, here on Super Mated Brothers Podcasting. We're podcasting about the week 9 eviction in the Big Brother house and the new HOH going into week 10, Big Brother 25. I'm Dave Mater, joined with Jaemeel Robinson. We're on here a little late. This is my second podcast of the night, so forgive me. But I'm excited to be here, and you should be too, because we have a lot to break down about what happened here as we see Mikol get evicted. And spoilers ahoy, of course.
Yeah. Dave, you are forgiven. I just want to let you know.
Okay, thank you. You're I'll do a few Hail Marys and do my penance. Absolve me, sir. Yes. Okay. Yes. And Bowie Jane is the new HOH.
Landmark stuff.
And she won. Okay. Like we have to. I'm sorry. We have to just go off like the big news here, Jaemeel, which was this guess about in minutes. How many minutes was it from the time that Jared came in as a zombie to the time he left, which was a week? Okay, what is a week in minutes? You know, it's that would be 20. You know, there's 60 minutes in an hour. There's 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. So what does that work out to? It turned out to be around
more or less. You would probably be on the more conservative side to make sure that you don't go over.
Yeah, right. Like something in that. So Bowie Jane's guess was 620. Like she started with 627. She eventually changed it to 27, and she wins. But you know, it's only because Felicia guessed 425,000 or something, right? Or no, it was like 42,000. I think something more close. Yeah. But she was over by.
No, it was 425.
Thousand.
Wait, yeah, 425,000.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find the clip here.
I was like, wait, what? And I went back because I was like, I want to kind of see where her math was at to kind of get that number, and it didn't make any sense because she had 60, and then she put 60 underneath it, and then she crossed out the 6 in the first 6, and she put like a 1.
She's got it here. Okay, so Felicia's got 49,500.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You're right.
So, okay, 49. Well, extra zero does make a bit. It's still it's a quite a bit over. It's so compared to the 10,000. I was something like maybe it's like 6,000 or something like that. You know, and it was so I think like, but Bowie Jane's 627. You notice where I just won. It's like, you know, in The Price is Right when somebody would just vote, like, do a bid $1 and then like, you know, expecting everyone to go over. I'm like, well, there's a good chance she'll go over. So like, I'll just go with like a really low number. So, but just write 1, like, because what if someone else wrote? She wrote like 27, and then like Felicia wrote like 10 for some reason, and then Felicia wins because but she wouldn't be closest, right? So I guess, you know, maybe that was Bowie Jane's thing. So if she bids $1, I'll bid like a little more than $1. I don't know. There's some psychology to this, right?
Enough that you can clear it at the very least, because it isn't like you didn't pick 2, right? Because 2 is just asking, right? Like that's too cute. She picked high enough that it wouldn't be close to the number, but at least high enough from 1 that there wouldn't be any doubt that someone wouldn't outthink her. But I think I think that's the reason. That's the answer I want to stick with, because otherwise, if she legit thinks that it was 627 minutes that Jared was in the house, that is just as bad as Felicia's answer.
Yeah, like I don't know. Neither are great. You know, it's hard to compare, but Bowie Jane to the spoils go the winner. She gets to be HOH now. Yes. But to get to that point, they had to get all those other questions right, which was difficult. Like, you know, true or falses on how many candles. I was like 6 candles. There are 6 candles. There were no candles. I definitely remembered candles from what I saw. They weren't there. So they were better at that than me. So, you know, how can I truly judge them, I suppose?
Well, but technically, if they wanted to, they could just mess with your head, right? Because they're presenting us the information. They can, in this new age, they can, you know, show a different version of what they show the house guest.
Yeah, Like they could, but I don't know. Like I'm never really doing well in that competition with them because I didn't get to study it for as long as they did. I only get to see it in the show for a couple seconds before they actually do this true or false. So I keep going like, oh, true or false, and I'm mostly wrong. I find when I'm playing along at home, as I was just a short time ago. Okay, but let's talk about the rest of this episode too. The blow up here with Felicia in the beginning of the episode, I think, is a big moment in the house. They ultimately vote to keep her. And Corey and America want to keep her after this. They don't care.
Yep.
They get over it.
Do you agree with them?
No. No, I do not.
Okay. Please pre-tell why.
I just think it's unnecessary, more than anything. Like
it's unnecessary in general.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary.
Well, this is the vote that you flip.
Well, I just think like Nicole, even if she wins, who cares?
Okay, well, I guess
who's she coming for at that point?
I guess it's more important to kind of understand that Cameron, for not just this week, but in previous weeks, mentioned that she wanted Miss Felicia out badly. That was his primary target that he wanted to get out.
Yeah.
Because he did not want her in the jury because he felt she would not vote for someone like him, is what he was saying.
Right.
So he was determined towards that. And then as people were trying to convince him, it's like, you're going to waste your HOH on that, there was actually a possibility that Corey was going to go up. And Corey was going to be the issue. So you can see from a house perspective, right, that, hey, if Cameron's going to be that obsessed, we need to keep that object of his obsession in the house.
Right.
Especially if we're going to, we don't want him to target us yet. Right? So.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, there was that whole moment earlier, right, where Cameron tells Corey that Blue wants me to put you up or wanted me to backdoor you. And his reasoning is, well, if now Corey will go after Blue and he'll think I'm his friend. So was this a good move on Cameron's part? Are you liking Cameron's gameplay?
No. Cameron's gameplay is, I guess, exciting, and Cameron's gameplay is fun, and he wins competitions. But in terms of strategy, I don't really buy it. A lot of his strategies, I'm not going to tell anyone anything, right? And that's his A1 move. He is not a Dan Giesling.
Not a Dan Giesling. He's more of a Derek Lavisser.
He's more of what is his name? Frank Moody.
He's Frank Moody. Is he Andy Herron?
No. Well, I say Frank Moody because the statistic is he has not gone a week without being HOH, on the block, or immune.
Right. Oh, I see. So he's always in like the showcase.
Yes. So just like Frank was in the same position. He was either immune, on the block, or HOH.
Or like winning the veto.
Well, yeah, like immune. That also counts as
safe or whatever.
Safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Cameron is now part of the. Okay. So now we have established after tonight, with the exit of Nicole, who this post jury house is. Right.
Yeah.
I think from one perspective here, I was like, I was glad that it was Nicole who got voted out because I think she was, as a player, she was a little bit one-dimensional, a little bit boring, not necessarily.
She was playing.
Not that I could tell, and
she anyone else who doesn't watch the feeds tell. She did not play a game at all, and it was this is my issue with people playing the middle, because it seems like for whatever reason they're like, I'm going to keep playing the middle as long as I possibly can, and they don't know when. Right? this was 2 to 3 weeks past when, right? She should have got more involved. And, she's like, I really tried in the veto. Well, you know what? If you don't seek power until you really need it, sometimes you're not going to win, in that grasp, that one last chance to kind of grasp power, right? Whereas you have people who kicked up their game, weeks before, and even then they don't have a 100% success rate.
Right. Yeah, like I was just kind of like, I felt like Nicole was the more uninteresting player here. I think Felicia is better TV. It's a better thing for the show.
Because she's got that I don't care old black woman type of attitude.
Yeah, and it's kind of great. We've been I think she's been the best personality of this season, even more than Suri.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's had.
You're looking a little guilty.
What was it? The condom?
For safekeeping.
For safekeeping. Whether it's the veto or some daggone condoms, everybody in the Big Brother house is looking for some protection.
I like both. It's the same thing, but I love both.
And
you got here because you were able to win comps. I got here because of who I am.
Really? Did you? Did you know? Did you know?
And what is that even? Is that what kind of a boast is that? I guess.
Because I'm an older black woman and I paired up with the other old black woman who had a lot of power. That's how I made
has
it.
Her son playing in the house, but no one knows that.
That's how I made it.
What did you think of Nicole's reaction tonight to learning that Jared was in Suri were mothers? Because she guessed Cameron and America were related.
Which is kind of gross. It's kind of gross.
Yeah. I was like, Cameron in America. Like, I don't think I would have connected those two.
Also, in terms of like Cameron, obviously, having interest in America. Like everyone sees it. Everyone.
Cameron wants America.
Oh
yeah, big time.
Yes, that's why he's like, I could get rid of Corey, and everyone's like, yeah, it makes sense. And then America, she could be easily picked up. I'm like, yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Mary Bass, she's saying, I do feel like production made Cam not use the veto. And
Wouldn't surprise me.
So, do you think production let's get Nicole off this season? It's way more interesting with Felicia.
You said it yourself. If it was a choice between Nicole, Miss Felicia, or Corey, you're like, Nicole, bye. Let's have an interesting rest of the season.
Yeah. Stereotype in the South that relatives get together. That's go on, BB. Nicole learned from her job to make deals at the last minute. Yeah. So Sam's in disbelief. He says he's in disbelief.
What was if America wasn't there, would Nicole be in the Sam's Angels group?
No, probably. He still can't get over that America's with Corey now. But I told Sam, I think it was last night's podcast, I was like, you have to learn constitutional pillow talk if you want to even have a hope of one day scoring America. You're gonna have to learn all about the amendments, about prohibition, if you really want to get into get her going.
Yes.
So, that's just how it is.
Who was it? Someone mentioned, do you know what the First Amendment is of Canada?
We have an amendment?
There is. The First Amendment.
I don't know what the First Amendment... it's actually called the First Amendment?
Well, it is the First Amendment, I believe, of the Charter. Right? And I think it is that Manitoba can join Canada. So whenever someone's like First Amendment rights, when they're like Canadian, it's like, you mean that Manitoba can join Canada? Sure. Right on.
Oh, I see. It's like a thing. Okay. But yeah, Mary Bass saying he was going to put up Corey and then production stopped him. So you can't put up Corey. Is that plausible? Is that a plausible thing?
It was looking like Corey was going to be gone.
And how was this stopped? Why did Cameron change his mind?
Well, Mary,
is it production? Is there another theory? Is there another possibility? Is this
is Helen being pushed? Is this Helen being pushed? Mary Bass?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Is this like a definitive conspiracy, or
It was like we had motive, we had opportunity, and Jag stopped it, but like Cameron was gonna do what he was gonna do, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He had all the power. What the doctor?
DR.
Oh, the DR.
Diary room. Yeah.
Sorry, it was a smaller R. I was like, doctor. Hello,
Yeah,
doctor.
you could have seen the doctor in the diary room.
He went to the DR, and then everything changed.
Everything changed, and production could be subtle when doing it, like asking questions like, with Corey God, do you think that blah 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 is going to kind of like directing the conversation in to express ideas in the contestant that they might not have thought of, or a strategy that might be more better for them in the long run from a certain perspective that the DR has given them, right? And this is a normal thing. People have always felt that the DR kind of directs questions and into specific avenues that kind of lead people to think about certain things that they didn't think before.
Yeah, so they're kind of leading the witness, if you will, right?
Yes.
Telling them what to say.
Right? Which some people have the strategy of never saying your strategy, because otherwise it might get leaked in the DR to other people.
Right. You keep all your cards close to the vest. You never tell anybody. That way, yeah, because the DR could be like, well, what do you think about what Corey is saying to so-and-so? And there could be like those kinds of questions, or is it more like, are you aware
like if
of this
Corey was doing this, what would your reaction be? And it's like, is Corey doing this?
Is Corey doing something?
Is that
like,
possible?
Yeah, what are you saying? No, but if he was, let's say like Corey was planning to backdoor you, what would you think? About that. But let's say you trust him, like you do trust him, right? You go, yeah, I trust Corey. Good. Just say I trust Corey, but I'm a little concerned about this. I just wonder how direct it is,
What they need is to have like a member of Goldman Sachs, or I should say Goldman Sachs, someone a little bit more trustworthy, like a company or a lawyer group that's just there for every single conversation that they had. Is like, that's leading the witness. No, you can't say that. Don't answer that question. Each person gets their own representative.
Yes.
Yeah. Objection, you're leading the witness.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Like, it's fair gameplay in Big Brother, but it's fair.
Well, it's not, technically it's not fair, because contestants cannot use production, right? And they get told to stop. Yeah,
they're not allowed to talk about production either.
No, they can't even use production. They can't say, "Oh, I have this power," right? And they'll say, "Blah blah blah." You cannot use production. Now, if you you can imply it.
What if you break the rule?
They'll keep saying it. Like, they'll cut you off and make sure you can't do it.
But what if you, like, once the genie's out of the bottle, how do you correct that?
People usually stop before that.
So crazy watching it. So Mary Beth was on live feeds about
The
this.
live feeds are a different show than what we get presented.
Right. So yeah, because I'm only a show watcher, right? So I'm like, okay, these people. But do I really know these people, or am I only getting like
well, you don't even know McCole, really.
No, but what I saw tonight, I was like, oh, good, let's lose her, right? And now that Bowie Jane won HOH, I'm always like, okay, they have to put her on the show now. Like, this is a great thing, because she's barely been on the season.
Cameron's gonna still get most amount of DRs.
DRs, like, if that, like, on her week, like, I don't even know who Bowie Jane wants to put up. Who is Bowie Jane gonna put up?
Like, okay. Before we say who does she want to, from your perspective, who makes the most sense for her to put up?
The most sense for Bowie Jane to put up. I guess whoever she feels betrayed by most recently.
What's Sari and Miss Felicia? Felicia?
I guess. Like, you know, I don't know who else she would want. Who would your guess be?
To me, that would be the worst thing that she could do, because she's going to take out two people that she can beat in competitions.
Well, what Blue? Is Blue somebody she would put up?
I don't know. Like, honestly, Bowie Jane has been a big nothing burger in terms of, like, here's ultimately why people feel that Bowie Jane hasn't connected well with people, right? One, she doesn't talk about any type of background stuff. And for the majority of the time, she just listens in to when people have strategy talks. So she's hearing people's opinions, but she's not necessarily consistently providing it.
Right.
Right? So us as an audience don't always get what her motivation is, or her
well, maybe she knows like not to talk about it because production's going to use it against her. She's actually going to win this game. Maybe that's what we're going to see this next week.
Bowie Jane, I doubt it.
Well, but she wants you to doubt it. She doesn't want you to know what she's up to. She's more like a true secret agent. Like she could be.
How old is Bowie Jane? How old is Bowie Jane?
She could be 35, 45. Who's to say? You know, like.
I love her birthday was. She said her birthday's coming up. She talked to Miss Felicia, and there was like, oh, the big. I think it was 35, and he's like so close to 40. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, being in my 20s was such a short time ago, or seems like such a long time ago. And everyone online was kind of laughing about it because it's like a lot longer than most people suspect. Because she's old.
She's 45. She's older than me. Yeah. So
yeah.
You know, she's not crazy old, but she's.
Although, what's it called? Good. I would have loved if Julie asked Jared, "How old do you think that Bowie Jane actually is?" Because he was commenting about how her face looked old and her body looked young.
It's like you have an old face but a young body. Like, isn't that weird? You're 35. Like, how come you're? You know, I guess that's an Australian thing. It's a weird thing to actually say out loud about it.
Yeah,
I guess, but
she has what I call Shaquille O'Neal syndrome. Right?
Okay, what is that?
Shaquille O'Neal syndrome is when you have the inability to close your mouth. So Shaquille's you see Shaquille all the time.
Okay, yeah, and that's what Bowie Jane has.
I have, like, unless she's gulping or she's about to close her mouth to open it again, I have not seen this woman's mouth close. Just stay closed.
Well, she's got those teeth, you know, like it's hard for her to actually.
She's like the big bad wolf. Oh, what teeth you have?
Yeah, she never really is like got her whole mouth closed.
And then the mouth opened right after.
She was really trying to figure out these minutes. And she got to 6. Like maybe she had a strategy here, though.
Oh no, like 9,000, 10,000 just seems about right.
Her mouth's closed there.
Because she's closing it to thing, and then she'll open it right after.
Yeah, it's not gonna last, but
right over.
Yeah. So
she can't help it. And you know what's look. Bless her heart, you know. That's just her thing.
Do you think she'll play Big Brother Australia now? Like she'll become a legend?
Wouldn't she have to?
I guess.
Like, wouldn't you feel obligated at that point? It's like you've played on it. Like the Australian tourism was like, hey, we can get Americans to watch, you know, our show because you were on the American show, and they know like you're going to be their way in. Right,
you're going to be that sort of bridge. Like how Tim was on Big Brother Australia, and then he was on Big Brother Canada,
and then he went back on Big Brother
Australia.
And I'm sure Canadians watched it because they're like, "Oh, we loved him."
Right. I think that would bring some crossover from the Canadian then, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it probably brought some Australians onto the Canadian version when he came.
Yeah.
Too, I would imagine.
Because he probably talked about his experience too.
Is Bowie Jane a mouth breather?
I have to believe she is, just because
could be.
I don't know, it just seemed weird.
Yeah. Boy
Are you a
Jane,
mouth breather?
I can do both.
Okay. When you're running, do you where do you?
I'd say when I'm running,
both?
I'm more mouth breathing for sure.
Okay.
But if I'm just like sort of laying in bed, I'm probably more nose breathing.
Okay. Do you like? Do you kind of do a rhythmic breathing when you're running?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't give much thought to it.
Okay.
I mostly focus on the music.
Long time ago, when I used to run, I did cross country running. I was a rhythm breather.
Rhythm breather. So is that to music, or is that just some other kind of technique?
Not to music, because we weren't like we could put like headphones on and do our runs for competitions. It kind of keep me focused on making sure I was breathing consistently, and kind of it was like the whole package kind of deal. Like I had my technique in terms of what I was running, and then I would have my pace with my breathing as well, and it kind of kept me in line, so I was consistent majority of the way.
Okay, well, I'm sure that's maybe I should look into that.
Look, I think you're pretty successful. Anyways, yeah.
Means Canadians, Australians, and USA Americans all participate in each other's reality shows. Don't forget the Brits. I guess they would also be in the mix.
Although they haven't really had UK Big Brother in a while. It's supposedly coming back. I don't know.
Who was the one who came on to Tim's season of Big Brother Canada? Who was from England?
She passed away, unfortunately.
But she was fun.
Yeah, she was on people loved her. People loved her. I would love to see some Canadians go on BB UK. I think some would do well. Some.
I haven't really watched that show, but maybe I would if like I knew somebody was going on there.
Some people swear by it because that is the BB that they're used to, and it's more of the public.
That's the real Big Brother. That's not my British accent. But,
the good thing about it that I wish came to Big Brother US and Canada was more involvement from Big Brother and more punishments.
More punishments. Okay. That could be fun.
Like the entire house is have-nots, and for everyone to have a shower, someone has to be pumping on the bike, for the water pressure.
For the water. I gotcha. Okay, well let's get what else in the episode did we miss?
Honestly, it's like I didn't feel. Look, I haven't felt that invested in Big Brother since before the zombie week. It was such a high, and then it just kind of sputtered with that zombie week, and then this week was kind of like
it was hard to get the momentum back. I felt the exact same way. I felt like you're getting me cold out. I'm the only thing I'm just like, okay, fine. Like this is a better move long term for the final end game. So I feel like with this middle part of the game was just sort of like, and a lot of momentum lost with the zombie week for sure, because we have a double eviction, but not really, and it's like, what, they're both living there still. Like they're still in the game basically, for all intents and purposes. So like, it's not really a double eviction at all. The whole idea of eviction is you're gone, and so there was that I think that was a big mistake. I thought that at the time. I still think that now. Coming off that, like what this week was fine. It was just giving me call outs, and I was like, good, someone was evicted, I guess. Finally.
I could understand that. I want to see. I felt like we've been stagnant in the last couple of weeks. Even in terms of like a strategy, let's see some end game, kind of thought process. None of this. Is it going to be Cameron? It's like the usual suspects, like over and over again. I'm tired of that movie. Let's see a new movie. What does Bowie Jane contribute to this season? Let's see it now. Okay,
this is her time. You're gonna see time. Like her. She's coming this week. This is gonna be gamer Bowie Jane. She's gonna have the most brilliant strategy. She's been planning this whole time, and she's finally going to be in the DR telling us exactly her master plan.
Put up Matt and Cameron.
Matt and Cameron. Why not? Like, is she working with them? I don't think so.
Ish. Once again, like, you have the, what is it? The, not the outlaws, the
fugitives?
The fugitives, right? You have the fugitives there. And it's just so obvious that they keep winning everything outside of, the luck Felicia win, and this one, and Corey's win. Right? It's been those three that have won. Right? Matt, Jag, and Cameron. Who's left of the game, I guess, in terms of competitions? Because Corey hasn't won a veto, to my remembrance. Nor America, nor Suri, of course, nor Blue, right? So you have three people have won almost every single challenge.
Yeah. Like,
that doesn't bode well for the end game.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I predict next week, or the next HOH, will be Cameron. Once again, he will be the next HOH. I almost can see it now.
Like, is Bowie Jane beating Matt, Jag, or Cameron in BB Comics when it comes up?
Yeah. Should Bowie Jane put up Cameron now?
If he wins it, then you just put up Jag.
She could almost sell it to him. Like, I'm going to put you up because I want you to play in the veto, just so we can control it. She could almost sell that as like a pawn move, right?
Well, the only issue is if you don't put him up and he wins, he could just totally screw with your plan.
So you should put him up.
I think you have to.
If you're her, but they're supposed to be allies, right? Or are they?
Are they? Mary Bassett would probably be able to.
I never see them have a conversation outside of like that, like weeks ago.
Because she's not on the show. She's like a special guest star.
Like, I'm like, oh yeah, Bowie Jane's here. Oh, and like, I feel like a little bit about Blue sometimes, and even Miko for sure. Now she's gone, but
yeah, well, her rants were exclusive to the live feeds.
Like, the characters I know on the show are like Jag, Corey, America is very present on the show.
Yeah,
Felicia is very present. Suri,
yeah,
Matt, Jag, and. Who am I? That's like Blue, I guess. But
Blue, Miss Felicia, like all the people who are currently in the house except Bowie Jane.
And then I go, oh yeah, Bowie Jane. But now she's HOH, and so like, isn't that the most interesting thing that could have happened in some ways?
We'll see.
Or is this going to is the momentum going to go? And like really fall off a cliff?
I just want good TV. And right now, it hasn't been really good TV.
Yeah, but what would make it better? Like, if you could sort of like, if you had like a couple small things you could change in that house currently that would actually make it better.
I would make it so that it was more of an even playground for for women to compete in the challenges, because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The amount of men versus women in terms of winning comps, pretty bad.
Yeah, Cameron's won a lot of comps in particular.
Yes, but in general, like
and Jared,
what was it? I think they said since BB21, I think women have lost at least 75% of all competitions.
I think that a lot of the male players like now see that as like the one thing they have, that's their advantage, because they're not as good at the social or whatever, or they know that they're targets anyway. So they're like, let's ally with each other. We'll control the competitions. We can try to get to the end together. Because isn't that as valid of a strategy as like somebody who's just going to be sort of like a low key sort of social player the rest of the season?
But it's like, if it was Survivor, fine. But for Big Brother, like the social aspect of it, it kind of eliminates. Like, there's a reason why women don't make it to the end,
Right. Well, yeah. Like I feel like this is worse. This is a bigger problem on Big Brother Canada than it is in the States, because Big Brother Canada is almost all the competitions are incredibly physical.
Yeah.
Or like they're at least time based, and you have to go fast, and those kinds of things, or race back and forth. A season with no physical comps
Jesus.
is presented by BB in here. Why not? Like, or maybe just one. I don't know. Casey was the only one who was equal to the men. Yeah, Casey could compete
Yeah.
on that level, but she was sort of a unique case, I would say. Like, but hey, I guess they all are. Really wanted to see if Felicia had won this HOH, I think that would have maybe been then that would have been fun.
She would have went directly after Cameron, and it would have been kind of how many HOHs Cameron won? Three now.
Cameron, he won at least 3, and he's won a bunch of vetoes, right?
Yeah.
So and other things.
Miss Felicia's like, I'm catching up to you, and then we all laugh to each other.
Yeah, if Felicia had won this HOH, that would have been really funny. Did you discuss Corey trying to blindside Suri and Blue with the Miko vote? Yeah, we haven't discussed that, but that was talked about. That's not what happens here. We have a unanimous vote anyway. So they were trying to get Suri and Blue to be on the odd side of the vote, which is the great travesty in Big Brother. You don't want to be fooled into being in the minority vote. Then you're the target. You're on the bottom. That means you're dunzo. Does it still mean that when you're in this stage of the game? Like, shouldn't you have a little bit more?
Still, anything that they can find, to call out and to make you the other is prime strategy. And because you'll just go, look, Cameron, see, she wasn't on board, or look, whoever, they weren't on board. Whoever stays, they weren't on board with you. Right.
Yeah, well, I guess so. But you don't have to believe that. But
you don't have to believe it, and I think that Miss Felicia wouldn't buy that either, especially at this point.
Also, question here: 5 girls, 4 boys left. Any chance for a women's alliance? Vote out all these men.
It's never happened. It'll never happen. Until competitions change, I doubt there would ever be an all girls alliance, all women's alliance, because there's no. What's the path? So you all group together and just hope that you're able to at least win the competition, or you have to have power to be able to kind of have that alliance kind of take hold.
So Bowie Jane, she's like, guess what? Bye bitch is coming back. Watch out this week, right? She's resurrecting that alliance with Suri, and who else was in that? Was Felicia in that?
Yeah, Miss Felicia was in it too.
Okay, you got 3. Okay, who are the other
women? Was in it too, and so was Izzy.
Izzy and Nicole are gone, so you have to replace it with
3.
Blue. No, Blue's not teaming up with. I don't think so. And America, I think so America's gonna go in an alliance to get out Corey. I just don't think it's happening.
Yeah. I just don't see it.
Mary Bass hates the voting as a house.
Yep, and I don't know what's going to take for that to change, because it does literally need to change. It's a cultural thing in terms of Big Brother that I wish we wouldn't see anymore. It's so lazy and tired and boring, and I don't care about hinky voice either, but at the same time, at least it's
how would you even get that out? How would you even try to sort of undo that kind of thinking? I don't even know.
I figure. I think a lot of problems stem from the fact that there is an inequality in terms of the competitions, right? And if there was more of a swing in terms of who could win challenges, then people would feel more bold in terms of their strategy, right? Because they could always win. Do you think that Miss Felicia is gonna challenge the house in terms of a vote, even though she might not be able to save the person, right? It's I don't want to be a target.
Right.
And she says that because it's like she's more likely if she sticks out, she's going to be a target as opposed to winning HOH.
I guess it is what it is, but it's where is it? Next comment here. I guess they could try to find 8 Caseys, to put into you can. Well, it's only challenge players. We'll only get challenge players, and get the elites.
But did Christmas do well before she hurt herself?
No, Christmas. She was she hurt her ankle, but I don't think she was that great of a comp performance before she got hurt.
You need someone like. I don't know. You don't know if you have any experience with wrestling, but like a Bianca Belair, who is like this extreme athlete in terms of both strength and speed and agility and flexibility. Kind of like she could hold her own against any. Like literally, Miss Felicia is going against an Olympian. Right?
Yeah. And the Olympian's like, we can't vote her out. We can beat her in comps. Let's keep her. That's his thing. He's like, that's his advantage. I guess
Suri, who couldn't beat plumbers on Survivor, is gonna beat an Olympian.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about Suri too? Because I think her post Jared game too is also part of this decline in the momentum, in sort of the vibe of this season, maybe a little bit. Because I think it was a little bit better, maybe with Suri was a little bit more active.
I think that she is doing damage control because of how badly Jared left her in a situation where she has no power. Her allies are thrown to the wayside and barely even trust her. All the trust she built with Corey, with Matt, with Jag, right? All of that needed massive repairs, and she's just starting to work on it. See, it's Jared's departure. So,
yeah, I just think she was like, I don't care about you, Miko and Felicia. You can go to the wolves, I'm just gonna watch them tear you apart. You weren't there for Jared, but nobody wanted to be there for Jared.
No one. I didn't want to be there for Jared.
No, Jared didn't want to be there for Jared. Okay, what else is there? Jag, Julie's dress looked good.
You like the dress?
It was good. Maybe
I thought you would have liked the dress.
It was like a plum dress with a sort of a. Here, I've got a picture of it here. I thought it worked well tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
Julie Chen Moonves. Of course, what's her name? Mikol had the full on decked out dress and the heels and everything going into the eviction. It took her a while to get from the kitchen door down to
with that tight of a dress, it's going to be very difficult. Yeah,
she had the bag too, right?
Yeah, Miss Felicia looked like she was an ambassador for a planet in the United Federation of Planets, or she was one of the what's it called again? The wise dudes from Bill and Ted. Right?
No, I like the ambassador one better. Yeah. Because it's this blue dress, but she's also got the scarf that goes over it, and she looks very formal and decorated. Yeah.
Yes. Ambassador Felicia.
What about the whole thing after Miko got voted out tonight too? What did you make of her blowing up the house in the game and those kinds of things?
What blowing up the house?
She kind of called out Corey. She wouldn't hug Corey when she got evicted tonight, and she was going out. Do you see that in the kitchen where she was just before she got out the door?
What'd she say? Keep in mind, I'm like, oh, she got eliminated. Kind of I saw the head thing.
She was leaving. She wouldn't she wouldn't hug Corey and America. She seemed to blame them for this eviction. Specifically, and then she called out, I don't know, she's like, so and so is working with so and so, you need to be more aware. And I'm not even quite sure who she was saying what to who, but it was she seemed to be trying to just blow things up and go out with some pizzazz here and blow things, not be quiet, not go out quietly, I suppose, right?
To go quiet tonight. Well, good job. She could have done that early in the week and actually campaign, but yeah,
she points at Bowie Jane and at Suri and says, "You need to watch out. They're not your friends," and this kind of stuff. It's all sort of America's. I think also called out quite a bit.
You know how much the bearings those take. Remember Izzy telling Cameron he's gonna see you soon? Yeah, right on, Izzy. You call that one?
Yeah, well, she's like, I'll see you. Yeah, well, Jeff would be if he was here. Yeah, he'd be like, we got you, Izzy. Yeah, Jeff was not an Izzy fan.
No, it wasn't.
As I recall. Yeah, he's in Iceland now, Jeff Mader. Doing things with whales, I suppose. And
he's saving the whales?
He's saving the whales. He's with Mighty Ducks 2 elite hockey team.
Hello, computer.
Hello. Is that in Iceland? Next quote, you could have a voter spin a wheel to select a nominee to evict. That would not be unanimous.
Like, there needs to be a not like our like with Survivor, there's a lot more flexibility in terms of, you know, movement in terms of people voting, especially closer to the end, right? Whereas it just seems Big Brother, people are like the hitch technique, where they stay in one little space and just move back and forth. They're like, this is my home until something happens, and then they get voted out, right? It just seems like there's no movement in terms of strategy.
Alliances, like people scheming, plotting, trying to move this or that around, right? Like, you know, or it's very static, it's very methodical. And I suppose that's what we're sort
very
of
boring.
But like, is that casting, or like what is it ultimately is going to be the you know?
Well, like, I don't know if it's people just are totally fooled and they think that they're in a better position than they actually are. So they don't want to change anything because they think they're in an advantageous situation, but they're not really. As like, I believe that Cherie doesn't feel she's in an advantage situation, but she's also playing smart in terms of not being. So, question B says, "Are you surprised that we got no Hinky votes this season?" Yes and no. Yes, because earlier in the game, there seemed to be more people talking that they were, I guess, more collectively mavericks in terms of their line of thinking. But then at the same time, these people gets hammered home. We need to be consistent. We need to be aware of exactly where everyone's head is at. Don't mess up or don't let on that there's dissension. We want everything to seem as normal as possible. Just vote with the house. You know, we're in charge, especially like people just agree. People,
but they're always somehow able to figure out who the Hinky votes are.
Because I think they tell themselves they can't help it.
They can't keep the secret. Isn't that the reason for that?
They can't help it. Tell themselves.
We talked about the comp. We kind of talked about this new solution. Okay, like these pictures. Did you like any of these pictures that we got?
No, I thought all of them were terrible.
They were awful. Right?
I'm like, that's Jared?
Jared? The Heisem one, and like, I don't know, like Stinkometer. I don't know. It was from the Humiliverse, so it was meant to be degrading. But 22 insults. You can't like it's now. There's no likes or hearts. It's dislikes and insults in the Humiliverse. That's how their Instagram works.
Or their version. They'll remember their new social media platform.
It's new.
No, that's what they were saying. They were referring to it as a new social media platform. They weren't referring to it as
Shames. It's called Shames.
So I guess it's based on threads, or
I don't know. It's from the Humila Raw. No.
Oof.
Wolf. I don't know. Like some of these aren't. Some of these are like sort of coming from the Humiliverse, but not in a good way. Not for the show's perspective. Are they trying to humiliate themselves?
Yeah.
Good shot there with the competition. I like this was fun, I guess. You know, tonight.
Yeah.
You can these get stale if you do too many of them too. I find.
I'm like Bowie, Jada, Felicia, Miss Felicia.
Yeah.
Like tied.
Based on it was a memory comp, right? You know, so you know Felicia, who was supposed to be easier to beat from Matt's perspective, nearly won this. Do you think Nicole would have won this if she had been in it?
I have no clue because our sample size of her actually trying to win a competition is so small.
Right. Yes, it's hard to say what would have happened.
Yeah.
Bo Jane would not be the one I would have predicted to win tonight, but you know.
She was not. I was like hoping it would be.
I was really hoping for. I was hoping for Corey.
Yeah.
You know, I would have liked to have seen him have power this week and see what that would have meant.
Matt, maybe. Sari once. Sari winning her first competition ever.
Sari winning her first competition, anything. Well, she won. Yeah. She won the traders, right? But that's not.
I mean, like her first, like from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So.
And then Jeff Probst comes out to like award her the victory. Felicia for the win.
Felicia.
Sorry, Sari for the win. All right.
Why did she pick 45,000 as the
Mary, I don't know. It made no sense. I don't understand that math.
Like, is it worse than the 627 or the 27 we got from Bowie?
I think it's just as bad, but at least it's lower. The other one is lower.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Well, it's after midnight. I think you've been on nights lately, right? So you're more probably used to being up at this time, but I'm not so much. So
yeah, we're running out of steam.
We're on a steam. We had a Star Trek podcast tonight, so
yeah, I'm interested to see how things are gonna go. Next episode's on Sunday.
Next episode is Sunday, and then we're on Tuesday. You know, so week 10. Get ready for week 10 in the Big Brother 25 house. Quickly on our draft, Jane had quite the night. My wife Jane and our draft team. As Team Jane lost to Nicole, but got Bowie Jane as her, as the new HOH. So Team Daryl Jaemeel with Sari still holding on. Jeff's got Matt. Jen's got Cameron and Blue. And Foster's got America still. Sean's over on Jag. I got Corey. Come on, Corey. And then Felicia. So
it's going to be interesting to see how things played out. And hey to anyone who just recently said hey. And also, yes, what would have happened if Miss Felicia put 4,500 instead of 45,000?
She would have won.
Yeah, she would have won.
Maybe that's what she meant to write.
Just
God. That would be a much more respectable guess.
I just the 10 times 60, and then also the using of the fingers, and that was a number.
But we were talking about it in minutes, like unless you don't know what a minute is, because unless you didn't understand that Jared was there for a week, or you didn't really understand what time they were asking for. Maybe they meant for maybe Bo Jane thought, well, that was the amount of minutes it was from the time he was he got evicted to when he came back as a zombie. Maybe that's what she thought it meant.
Maybe for Bo Jane that would make more sense.
In seconds. Well, Felicia would have been in seconds, not minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that song in Rent 525,600 minutes, not seconds?
Minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a year.
That's a year. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's sign off. We'll be back Sunday. Talk about the next week. Get ready for this Bowie Jane HOH. I'm excited. And make sure you check out our other content here on the channel. If you watch Survivor, we're covering that season. We've done 2 episodes already. Season 45.
Emily's still alive.
Emily's still alive. You're doing okay over there. I got my guys. I got Bruce and I got Jake. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Bruce is a character.
Yes, he is.
So I kind of understand why they wanted him back. So we'll get ready for that. And Marvel, I guess we'll be talking about Loki soon. That started today, right?
Yes, it started at 9:00, 3 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch that. Check that out. Loki. Whenever that ends, and I guess we also have
about a month. So by
November, the Marvels is also coming.
The Marvel.
Right? So
you get the robot comes in, intergalactic planetary, shortest Marvel movie.
Yeah. If you like Star Trek, we do that over on our other channel called Live Long and Podcast. If you like whatever Star Trek there is, we're doing it. Trivial Debates is a show where our movie, TV, sports, more. Jaemeel just competed in a horror themed episode. It was pretty
good.
The horror. X-rated with Davan and André. Talk about the X-Men. It's an amazing show. You got to check out their great interviews and all of the X-Men. Yeah, Jaemeel repping over there on the T-shirt with a Storm Funko on there. Quite the stuff. Of course, graphic histories. André Myette just interviewed me recently. I got on there before you, Jaemeel. So hopefully you'll get to be a guest soon.
Comic book always handy.
Yeah. Hold up. Next week starts season 2. I'll be on with Davan and Murphy talking movies, space movies. That is,
DVDs.
And I think that's the place. So
I heard your criticism last week, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. So I decided to break out my original.
The original
VHS.
90?
Yeah.
Wow, you're gonna watch it on VHS?
I watch it on VHS.
You still watch things on VHS?
I have a VHS player.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How vintage of you.
Good condition too.
Wow, you're watching that. That's fun. That movie, like, compared to some of the other later Turtle movies, that movie's like The Godfather. Like, it's amazing.
Yes, I agree.
Anyway.
Okay, everyone, take care. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and where you'll see us.
See you on the flip side.